Welcome to Homemade Everything, everybody. Today I have Chris and Davis. I've got Sonny and Jason, and then his dog Zeus. But we've got both rifles. This is our budget build from Marksmen Firearms, and we have our quarter MOA F1 Firearms Rifle. We're going to be putting these to the test today, one against the other, and see how they do downrange. We're starting at about 75 yards here to just see how we hit on paper, and then we're going to move out a little bit farther and see how they do at a farther distance. Alright, so we've got our GoPro set up on the targets down there. Chris is giving me some ears because I forgot mine at home because I'm a noob of a shooter. I've got both of our rifles here. These are 30 rounds of just FMJ 55 grain 5.56. 2 mags for the F1, 2 mags for the budget build Marksmen Firearms Rifle. And so it's time to shoot, so let's get some lead going down range.
What's up, everybody? I'm Chris, the GM for Marksmen. I got the idea from doing this budget build to do a class, a budget build class. We're going to be doing it every second Saturday of every month. Yeah, we'll have loaner tools. We'll supply the lower part, the parts kit, and all you got to do is just buy the lower. Thank you. Come see us.
Alright, so we're going to be shooting the F1 Firearms Rifle first. You're not going to believe it, but when I unpackaged this optic, I slammed it on this rifle. I got 3 rounds down range, and somehow this rifle and optic loved each other and put 3 about an inch away from each other down on the bullseye. So we're going to go ahead and start with this one. I have a feeling there's not much calibration that we need to do, if any. But we're going to get these on paper so we can go ahead and see where it's hitting, and then we'll go on to the Marksmen Firearms budget build. My man. Grazie. Okay. You know what this is? Diaper bag.
Which one are you going first, top one or bottom?
The F1 is going to be shooting at the top targets, and I'm going to be going for the large center target first, and then we'll move on from there. So I've got, I think it's about a 12-inch diameter target, one on top, one on bottom, and then I've got these 5-inch diameter targets, and then the smaller ones here. We are not going to go very scientifically on this. I'm going to start shooting at these bigger targets here, make sure the guns are still zeroed. The bottom is going to be our budget build, the top is going to be our F1 Firearms. So I'm going to start here, yeah, we'll go from there. Alright, I am sending. Like I said, the reticle on this really covers quite a bit. Do I need to adjust? Were they consistent enough, or do you need to put some more rounds down?
I put 2 more.
Okay. Alright, so we've got 5 rounds downrange with the F1 Firearms Rifle, and now we're going to go ahead with the Marksmen Firearms budget build and see what our grouping is like under this rifle. Alright. Firing, bottom center target. Alright, we're going to go down range now and see where these 2 rifles just shot. We were shooting at the big targets, so it was pretty easy. Once we get to the smaller targets, the reticle of that red dot kind of covers up a lot of the target, and it's more difficult to get a tight grouping. That F1 Firearms gun is really easy to operate. I love the trigger. I'm really picky on triggers, but we're getting pretty similar results. That I can already tell we're getting pretty similar results from both rifles. It's just that trigger on the budget build it's throwing me off. So I do have to blame shooter error. However, as you can see here, this is the F1 and this is the budget build, and man, if we actually measured these out, I have the exact same distance between both groupings, and we're at about 75 yards. So it would be hard to say at this point that one of those rifles is better than the other. All right, so we put 5 rounds out of each rifle downrange. We had a grouping about like this on each one, 75 yards, which is pretty sorry, but that's a lot of shooter error right now. The thing that I was surprised by is you can't tell which rifle was shooting each target because the groupings are about the same. So we're gonna shoot a few more rounds downrange at this distance to see how consistent I can get, maybe get me a little closer, narrower grouping, and then we will push these targets back to about 150 yards and go from there. Hey Zeus. You having fun, buddy?
Yeah.
All right, good.
You're doing the. You doing top or left?
Yes, sir. I'm going F1 Firearms, top left target.
That one was at 1 o'clock, right up on the edge of the paper,
Okay.
or edge of the black.
Pretty sloppy group.
Yes. Yeah.
I've never shot a gun before. Marksmen Firearms budget build, bottom left target.
That hit the ring, very outside edge.
Yeah, it's going to look about the same spot. You got a better group with that one.
That's awesome. This is the F1 Firearms Rifle, 5 shots hit paper. So this is the Marksmen Firearms budget build, and I hit 6 shots here, 2 right there. The grouping's actually better than I had on the F1, but it is a little high left, so maybe a little calibration of our optics, and then we'll push this back at a farther distance. All right, so after much scrutiny and harassment, I decided let's go ahead with a second shooter. So Chris, the GM, is going to go ahead and try to outshoot me. He probably will, but only one way to find out, so let's get shooting.
I'm gonna bring 5 shots.
Whatever you want.
Center targets.
Yes, sir. Top F1, bottom Marksman. That's 5 shots, sir.
Okay.
About same group as me. Pat myself on the back.
All right, the marksman build.
Budget build going out. High left, 2 inches. About the same.
Yep.
Low, 2 inches.
That should be 5.
And barely left. That was a good group though. And I think
You can't see the target.
I know, yeah, that reticle's tough. I think the one that I couldn't see, the second one that I couldn't see, I think that you keyholed one. That's a good group. You had 1 flyer, everything else was barely low left. Good shooting, Sonny. All right, so me and Chris did a half-decent job. We were about the same, so Sonny decided to come in here and make us look like fools. He had a really tight group with the F1, and he had a little bit tighter of a group on the budget build than Chris and I had with it. So now Davis is going to come in and try to show us what he's made of.
75.
All right, we were shooting about 75 yards here. We have pushed this back over doubling it to 150 yards. We're going to go ahead and see how we can do now with these red dots. They are 1x magnification, so that's our excuse for the day. There's minimal wind, if anything, so that's our only excuse that we can use. But we've gotten a little bit better with these triggers and guns and optics, and so now we've doubled our distance, so we'll see if we can hit anything now. I decided that I'll go first so that y'all forget how bad I do after the other shooters come through. Man, this is going to be really hard. Center high, F1 Firearms, 150 yards. What's the group look like? Same? Pretty sloppy?
Yeah, probably take about $1 bill to cover them.
Whee! Bottom
Gotcha.
target.
I heard them ruffling around.
Marksmen Firearms budget build. 150 yards.
Bullseye. And that was about 3 inches to the left of the bullseye.
Oh, wow. Next shooter.
It was windy too.
Yeah, real windy. About 80-mile-an-hour wind.
Yeah. That's why we don't have the drone now.
Yeah. These hurricane winds out here, they're terrible.
You ready?
Yes, sir. Fire when ready.
Well, I can't even
that's
see
it.
the orange dot from here. We're going to go center mass.
Okay, top target.
Yep.
All right. Almost 230.
Now do the budget. Connected to my headphones.
Now the budget build.
And I was in Kuwait.
It was on
so I had them
paper.
shipped to the house.
Everything was on paper.
Got home,
But
realized what I
it's
did.
just impossible to see. I was telling Chris when we walked down there, I think it'll be fun next video to do some trigger work, and then also potentially throw other optics on these and
I'm
see
down
what we
to
can
probably about
see
200
how
left
far
now,
we can be
so.
deadly with a budget build.
I took a bunch with me out to New Mexico when I went out
Actually
there.
doing pretty
We were
good.
going up to the
Well, and that's the point of the video, is to prove that
And while we were
you don't
camping in
need
the
a
national
$2,700 rifle
we
to
just
go
set
out to the
targets
range and
forest, almost
kill
chopping
papers, 'cause
trees
right
down,
now,
we shot so many rounds.
I don't think any of us has really done amazingly
We did
better with that
a
gun
tree like
than
about
with
like
this
that, a
gun.
pine tree, about
So
like
that's impressive.
We cut it
Yeah,
in
you
half,
can't have a good
chopped it down,
holdover on
shot it
target
so
either
many
with the
times.
dot. It just, like you said,
It's tough. You're guessing a lot.
yeah.
Cool. All right, so Jason just shot these. This is the F1 Firearms, and this is the budget build Marksmen Firearms gun. This is at 150 yards, and you can see his group here, 6 shots. And down here, we were a little bit more. We had a few flyers, I guess, but the grouping is still just about the same between both rifles. I think that on each test, we've noticed a slight difference, maybe 1 more inch as far as the grouping on every single distance. Both guns, every single shooter has been about the same variation. So pretty impressive results. All right, everybody. Well, as you saw, this budget build did pretty good up against that F1 Firearms rifle. As we expected, that is a quarter MOA gun. It did a little bit better. They have the same optics, though, and at 150 yards, it was kind of difficult to see our targets. So that's our excuse for a little bit of scattered grouping, but both rifles did very well. The purpose of this was to tell you guys out there that are looking to buy or build a rifle that a budget build can do just about what a very fine rifle can do. If y'all are looking to just go to the range, shooting about 100, maybe 200 yards, a budget build is going to get it done and get you a pretty nice grouping. There's a lot of other things that you can upgrade, such as trigger or optics, and we're probably going to do that down the road. But for right now, we wanted to see just what you could do as far as spending bottom dollar, get out the door with a nice solid AR, and get out to the range and still put some holes in paper without being frustrated with your rifle not feeding well. We didn't have a single jam out of this rifle, either rifle, and we've just been really impressed with the results of this budget build. If you're looking for a budget gun for hunting or just plinking at the range with your buddies, I highly recommend doing one of these first to get into shooting because it gives you pretty impressive ballistics. So I would like to thank Marksmen Firearms directly for sponsoring this video. They donated every part to build this rifle, and it obviously functioned very well. So Chris, I thank you very much. And Jason, to you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Zeus. Thank you, Sonny.
Yes, sir.
And nobody cares about Davis. So thank you very much, Marksmen Firearms, and we'll see you on the next one when we, I don't know, mod the heck out of this rifle or something like that.
All right, so don't forget about our AR build class. Come see us second Saturday of every month. You're ready.
Thank y'all very much. We'll see you on the next project. Bye!
2103 South W.S. Young Drive, across from Colleen Mall. Come see us.
All right, we can see Davis really well in the sun. He looks beautiful.
Let me my ears up here.
Ears. I hope
Good thing that wasn't on
that was on camera.
Oh
Dude.
my God.
All right, so we put 5 rounds out of each rifle downrange. Pretty tight grouping. No, that's a lie.
Just did that in the video. Yeah, it's a lie.
Gosh, guys, y'all are really ruining my day right now.
Shut up.
We'll be right back.